No, it does, and it takes a while to develop, but also you got to think that it isn't just Simple that has rejoined the ranks of BC.Game. Obviously, you've got a new coach in the mix in Emmy. You've got Andy that has moved over as well. And for Sassanito, look, he was in the team for a little bit, and then he took a hiatus out of BC.Game. So for him, sure, he's been in the team 3 months now, but it is still this entire period of transition. We're straight in to the action here. 2v2 as Adam B just immediately gets rid of Simple. Bomb planted in towards Market. And for Andrew, he's trying to take the space, and he's been able to do it. 2 kills immediately out of Andrew. Makes it a quad kill in the round. We don't see much of it, but we see BC.Game overwhelming OG.
Yeah, not sure how it happened, but Andrew happened. That's all you need to know. All right, well, quad kill. And that's interesting. They're basically BC.Game. I've covered almost every one of the Mirages in the last couple of weeks, and they always go for an A play. So they are starting to vary it up. This time going for the B hit, and Andrew getting plenty of kills. OG immediately opting to keep the USPs. Adam B has treated himself to the CZ. Not sure how much of a treat that really is. It's like a mint instead of like a sugary sweet.
Right, let's see what he can do with it. There you go. He's able to get rid of Andu. He's run out of ammo, and that's not the luxury with the CZ. Sassanito instantly slides out with the Mac-10. You might be more familiar with the Steam names of BC.Game. Who is Pizzaza?
That's Prime Taps.
Okay, that makes more sense. Fortunately enough for BC.Game, as soon as you get by Adam BCZ, there's not a whole lot of resistance on this bomb site, and it goes about as you would expect. If you're OG, you're hoping for maybe 1 or 2 more kills on the way out. You just don't really want to fall to Sassanito's Mac-10. It says it's going to be Nexus Galil. There's that kill we were talking about. But it gets traded out quite quickly by Prime Taps. Free stay alive for BC.Game is the ideal scenario.
Yeah, you lose a Mac-10. I think they might have lost another rifle in the mix, but it's not the biggest of deals. Does CZ still have the lower kill reward, or did they change that? It must be back to the regular 300. There was a period where it was just 150, and it was like, well, it's a long way to nerf it. We'll find out mid. Check out this triple window setup early on just to do the spam, and well, it's not the triple setup that gets the dink, it's the single one of Nikodos.
Yeah, look, you see 3 players in towards window. You hear a lot, and instantly BC.Game are like, okay, we'll go mid to B. We'll immediately throw it into this execute. We'll make the rotations come over. And I was going to say you don't need to commit into the site, but Prime Taps is already out in the open. He's got rid of Spook. But there's plenty more reinforcements where that came from, but it might not matter. Prime Taps is once again carving open OG arrozdoce back site. Just trying to hold on. Give space for maybe Krisen to rotate in, but he's running out of time. There goes Krisen towards the mid lurk, but it's the double swing that prevails for BC.Game. Krisen's position is known. It's a tricky 1v2.
There's a chance for him, though. I think there is a kit on one of the players on site. But a very difficult retake for him with this space that Prime Taps has taken into market. He's seeing no one is coming from that position, and now Krisen's spotted. I don't think there's a way in. Not when you don't know where Prime Taps is. So it looked a little dicey with that first kill coming through. Sassanito going down after the dink from Nikodos. That fast call, as you mentioned, off realizing that many players are spamming top middle. There's some space on B. And even with the fast rotations, Prime Taps bails them out.
Yeah, Prime Taps is able just to be sort of unknown, just in the midst of all the chaos. On the floor already, out of the window on towards the apartments. You're not ready for that elevation change if you're OG. So a really nice little call early in the game for Nexa. Already reading what his opponents are doing, reacting accordingly. That was the first gun round. It doesn't go the way of OG. Free to the good, a BC.Game on their map pick. It's that saved AK brought over from Krisen. It's a little bit of an investment here as he drops over an M4 to Nikodos. Everyone else is just trying to survive on these pistols. It's another test for BC.Game. They don't want to succumb to a force buy.
That smoke to go down so Nikodos can safely get up into the ladder room. You're going to try and enable Bit of a dynamic between these two riflers where they can play off each other. Obviously in very dynamic positions to deal with players in middle or on their respective bomb sites. Moment, Andy's just going to post up middle. The rest of the squad is making their moves towards B, which would be a good call.
Yeah, this is also just creating conditioning as well. It's one of those things where you've had so much success. You had the pistol round that ends on the B bomb, so you had this first gun round where you immediately flex it into a mid to B, and now you're just reinforcing the idea that you're going to have to prioritize in the future OG potential reinforcements, a double setup over towards the B bomb site, where that means one player is not really as committed in towards short. Even have a third player, the AWP, flexing over a little bit later in Nikados. It's already sort of reinforcing ideas here for the defense. It's making them inflexible, and that's exactly what OG don't want to be.
Chance to do some damage here, or maybe even find success on this retake with Kristen finding that kill onto Simple. He can start to scale. They picked up that extra rifle in towards short as well. Now there's not a kit, but if they can just find the kills, it might not matter. Nexa is all alone, needs to delay so that bomb can't be defused, but he doesn't have a chance. And BC.Game, they don't have the space in the retake when Simple goes down. So do their chances, because it's just an immediate suffocation.
Everyone was a little bit static there for BC.Game. For Simple, it's a little bit unfortunate because obviously he's mollied behind him to prevent that play. But Krisen is at the break point where he can just walk through the edge of the molly, hit the headshot instantaneously. He doesn't take too much damage. And because he is there and they're not prepared, check this out, because whilst Asanito is still boosted, you've got the player in the corner, I think it was Prime Taps, where he can't really go anywhere, and he's just hoping that this smoke is enough to just cover the top of his head. There isn't a pixel spotted, but Kristen's able to steal the damage. That's one setback of potentially many here for BC.Game throughout this series. OG being lethal with every single weapon. Kristen saving that AK, then passing over an M4 to Nikados, but it's that save rifle that does the bulk of the legwork here. And look at what it does. There's no AWP. In fact, there's limited AKs. A couple of Galils. Prime Taps is even relegated to a Deagle. It's a really good opportunity now for OG to capitalize on this and equalize the scoreline.
Maybe a lane from the T side towards this A bomb site, including the bomb itself, so maybe a chance to go for a bit of a split. You can see how fast Andrew is scaled. He is already in the connector. Now, Kristen, how aware of he is this? You can see, not overextending, but he might give up his life here. No! Crouch peeks under. Andrew thought he had the timing of a lifetime. It's Kristen that catches him out, then disengage. You've seen these players start to scale. Nexter has found some success. You can remove Kristen. That opens up this bomb site and allows the bomb to potentially go down.
This is really difficult for OG because as soon as they deal with one player, the next wave of onslaught from BC.Game just appears on the bomb site. arrozdoce at least finally alleviates some pressure by getting rid of Nexa. That allows Prime Taps to grab an upgrade from a Deagle. Now all these players are sort of stuck in one area. Sandwich, ramp. You've really got to play off each other effectively here. Plenty of time. There's also utility and kits for OG. They start to make their way through in towards CT. Prime Taps first point of contact. First test pass for OG. Now they can make things even more difficult for BC.Game, but Simple alleviates everything. Eliminates them in the smoke. He doesn't even need to see his opponent. And Sasanito will play off his contact perfectly. BC.Game, it looked tricky, especially when OG got that kill on Andu in Sandwich, but Simple makes it work.
Yeah, you noted the kind of triple setup. They're all in towards Tetris and Ramp, but that actually kind of acts as a bit of a guise. You're not really expecting that many players, and Simple, after his teammate at Ramp goes down, takes that opportunity to swing out, and you can see there's a bit of body blocking trying to go on there to try and make it so they could get that defuse off, but just lined up for Simple. Just makes it easier. So good job from BC.Game with limited weapons and with losing that opening kill to scale off it and find success. Andu again looking to get very aggressive in the middle. And Sasanito has opened up space on B. They could potentially explode, but look at the rotations. Might just wait to see what Andu can do, but they're running out already. They want to go on to B, and there are all the CTs here. Every single one is present. And they're starting to find their frags. The kills coming through for the CTs. Andu's flank will arrive. And the spin around doesn't find success, but Andu does. Paints a pretty picture until he's taken down and it leaves it to Simple. The 1v1. After Spook falls, the swing out, and it's all too easy for Simple. Knows exactly where they're coming from.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, that is rushed by BC.Game in that moment. And all they need to do is just take a chill pill because Andu's got all the space and say, look, guys, I'm in connector. And the decision is made for Nexa. He says, don't worry, just go on the flank. See if you can backstab these players. They don't expect the quantity of rotations here from OG, but in the same breath, why wouldn't you? Sassanito gets such an early kill, and as we've been speaking about all throughout this first half so far, the conditioning, we're going B, say BC.Game. They continuously end in that direction. In fact, when they've been on the lower buys, when they've been going up against anti-forces or just pistols from OG, they've always ended A. So it almost feels like a telegraph routine at that point, but the double layering, firstly, Andu, lucky not to get sideswiped on the pirouette by Nikados, but then Simple is walking through a smoke at the same time. You think you've dealt with the majority of the hit, but it's these two extremities that create a devastating pincer for OG, and that one's going to sting.
That was a hell of a rotation as well from the CTs. It's a 5-on-4, and all four move towards B off that one kill onto arrozdoce. Guess it's clear that BC.Game want to follow through. This is an interesting push. Adam B and Kristen have found a lot of space. So you should be aware of this possibility. You can see they are approaching this. I was going to say slowly, but then, okay, they do pull out the guns, the 5.7 and the MP9 combined for one, but Kristen doesn't get away. And with those two players falling, you know, there might be some space over at A.
Absolutely. You've just created a runway for you to go on towards this A bomb site. You know rotations are either going to be here already. So that's why these players of BC.Game have just slowed down. They want to group up to make sure that they're tradable. Or the rotations are going to be a little bit delayed. They've just entered the line in the sand where BC.Game cross ramp and these players move in from CT. Nikados trying to be a thorn in BC.Game's side, but that molly is brilliant. Assassinito's already got rid of Spook. It should be just a cleanup crew now on site, and Simple's even running through the fire and the flames just to guarantee an eco kill. And he'll get one. 6-1. This has looked very convincing so far out of BC.Game.
Simple starting to arrive in the server too after a 1-3 start. Multi-kills back to back. Puts him tied up with Sassanito. And then going to this next round, you're really looking at Nikados for OG, who had a rough one in the head-to-head versus Simple last time they outed, despite a close scoreline overall between the two teams. There was a big disparity there. It's been granted the privilege of the AWP into this round. Decided starting over at A, playing towards Ticket. It's a bit more of a default passive CT hold.
This is a good call, again, out of Nexa, because where you've been going so fast, primarily through middle, with Andu in towards connector, with there always being a little bit of a threat, you know OG are going to have their guard up. So you play a slow default, you hold extremities just in case there are going to be any of these pushes coming in. You delay these takes in towards mid, and you group up and hit a bomb site. They are going into that AWP and Nikados, as you highlighted, second time of asking. He's wielding this weapon and he needs to find purchase on it.
Empty flash goes forward. Swing is about to come through. Ready for prime taps to come around that corner. Next is holding the flashbang. So how good are these? What's the timing look like? Misses the opportunity on the first, but he will connect on that second. Ollied off, falls back. You've got Adam B tucked in towards Firebox. Is there going to be any sort of utility? Not needed. Exodus spams him out and keeps on going through the smoke. A break on the next one does reveal himself, and he gets caught because of it. With Sassanito falling, it does fall to one player, and with three that swing him, Simple doesn't get a chance to get the clutch started.
Gotta give a lot of credit there to OG for how composed they were. As soon as Nexus spams out Adam B, you could easily see OG maybe trying to run through the smokes, force the issue, especially with Nikodos finally having the flames extinguished over towards CT. But BC.Game, I think, knew with the amount of smokes that they put forward in towards Connector and Stairs and the lack of one in towards Ticket, and they've obviously heard the AWP fire off onto Prime's taps. What they want to do there is try and fight, force the issue in towards Connector, then you can plant safely for jungle. They didn't have really any space on that bomb site, even if they used the utility to force OG back. It was a little bit of an overstep. And again, I think in some of these rounds, there's been a little bit of a urgency from BC.Game when necessarily there doesn't need to be.
We got simple AWP out into this round at least. A little bit of excitement offered up, even if Nexa goes away wanting. Fantastic nade onto Andu. He has to dodge the second. He's been left wounded. His lurk becomes a little less potent. Again, OG, much like the round previous, don't have a lot of information. That was their attempt to gather some with the nades thrown out, but they don't push further off it. Andu drops a couple of smokes in middle, so it's going to keep some attention here while the rest of the troops try out this A bomb site once more.
Still paranoid about B. Another re-smoke goes in. That means there's one less smoke for the retake effort. But Sassanito and Nexa, after Nikodos is able to get rid of Simple, both AWPs are now dropped on the floor. Crizzen with a pocket of space in between the fire and the flames, and now he has to be the one to do the bulk of the damage. They don't know he's here, and they've not planted for themselves, but Crizzen is able to get rid of Nexa. Arrozdoce on the way, he groups up in tandem and then steps in Crizzen's shadow. Let's try and make this work. No smoke, as mentioned, for this defuse, but there is a kit in play. But Andu's already disengaged, as is the rest of BC.Game. They're all playing these really horrible angles where you got to go deep to invest, which burns more time off the clock. Andu will now reveal himself. That gives Crizzen a chance just to escape and save. There is no time left on this clock. BC.Game, they allow OG to get one round, and then they reply instantaneously with one of their own, and that just keeps the economy in a fragile state.
Yeah, it's exactly what happened the last time OG got on the board as well. You think that one's about to fall apart with Andu so low in middle and then Simple getting removed immediately by Nikodos, but good kill onto the player under Dark. I'm not really sure how I guess it's just the eye dominance. Can't quite see him around that corner, but Nikodos getting one-dude by Nexa was what ended that round because they can immediately scale off that. The AWP's out of the picture. Crizzen, sure, he had a good position, but his patience not rewarded. They will have an investment. Virtue of those saved weapons. Spook also having a bit of a tough day at the races. It's kind of the two stars of this team that are having slow starts.
This is really simple Counter-Strike when it comes to the call-in at its finest, but it has been the most efficient. They've gone A few rounds now, so OG have reacted accordingly. They've been starting 3 players over towards A. You take one tick in the Molotov. If you're Sassanito, that immediately causes paranoia. A third player has rotated. Nikodos over with the AWP, just staring at the B apartments. And that means potentially there's space here in towards middle. So everything falls silent. OG again with a lack of information. And they're just leaving A. They're completely abandoning this A bomb site.
Well, fortunately for them, BC.Game not in a position to immediately go there. And Prime is going to move forward to get this space. Crizzen, not sure what he was looking at there. That's interesting. It's kind of caught between like looking to the left and right side of the boxes, but I guess just didn't realize he was potentially revealed there. So that's a freebie. All you need to do is just don't go B. Just don't go B, and the round's won. And with Prime Taps' lurk, ready to strike from Palace. Looks pretty set. The destination is correct. A, where they're going. OG hear the smokes land, and they realize, well, we might just have to save this one.
Yeah, look, the money's not in a good spot anyway, so it actually does make sense for OG to probably gamble one bomb site, even though it looks a little bit unorthodox. Reminds me a lot of like Cadian call-in, where you are on the CT side, you over-rotate to one bomb site. If you don't see anything, then maybe you over-invest and rotate back and have this gamble. But that's the first time as well BC.Game have thrown a fake in this half. That's the first time a smoke has landed on a bomb site and they've not gone to it. So OG fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. Not really too sure, as you say, what Crizzen was up to in top middle. Trying to be a little bit intrusive, trying to gain some information for his team. As the leader, tries to take the burden of responsibility off his teammates' shoulders, but gets caught lacking. It's that one kill that further cements the idea of OG saying, okay, well, look, if you go A, we save. If you go B, we'll give it a good go. Unfortunately, Nexa, it just feels like he's one step ahead the entire time. It's just making the correct read after read.
Yeah, BC.Game have really mastered Mirage, it feels, as of late. And we are seeing it's the floor, right? I mean, look at this team across the board.
Yeah.
No one is lacking.
And look, Crizzen is a very good in-game leader when it comes to firepower, but he shouldn't be at the top of the board here. 13 and 6 is having a fantastic game. I don't want to take anything away from him, but it should be the likes of Nikados. It should be again, the entire premise of this team as well is for there to be multiple star players by being very good in the roles that you're in. So the floor effectively should look very familiar to what we get out of BC.Game, but we're not achieving that right now.
I do again, going for this really pacey play. The flashbangs have set him up, but the spam good from Adam B. You can see they were aware of that possibility. Even Nikados looking down with his scope and got a chance there, but not quite able to find purchase. Sanito, maybe his leg. He's looking for Spook. Oh, no, it's around that corner and walks straight into Nikados' scope. So far so good for OG into this round. Simple now starts to get aggressive. But he gets caught out from Adam B. Just a little bit too revealed from Ticket. One by one. Domino's fall. Primecaps finally answers back with one of his own. But I don't think Nex is going to get this down. No, Nikados is already rotated. You can see what the intention was from this round. But as those two elements in connector fall, so does the rest of the squad. He should comfortably find this third. No more casualties would be ideal for them. Question is, who gets the kill? Primecaps is just hiding out. They really don't want to lose another player here. I don't think they will. Primecaps is actually just going to walk away. Because him living is actually pretty important when you look at the economy. He'll need to drop an AK over to one of his teammates.
I can't believe you've just been allowed to walk out. Don't go back into it, Primecaps. You really don't need to. Yeah, that round's interesting because the mid portion of the BC.Game take in the early round was this time predicated a lot on aggression, moving very dynamically, but as a result, there's not as many people in towards middle. The idea is that Andu creates the space, and then it's very similar to a round BC.Game pulled out about 4 rounds ago, where the contact is taken in mid, and then the players just outpour out of Palace and ramp. But the addition of Nikados being in connector and Adam B being there for the smoke spam support really aids out, and then that just enables Nikados to move to hold Palace, and the idea of the round for BC.Game is shut down pretty quickly. This one is very direct. They're going A immediately.
Hope's not here. Andu scales out quickly, but it's a double setup in towards Ticket that needs to be broken. One player's been spotted on the jump, but that might just bait in Crizzen. Any flashbang to set up Andu, not needed. Okay, the flash does come over. Adam B trades out, and then arrozdoce slips in, so not expecting that third element to appear. Bombs down.
With the flank.
Latent sentry. Yeah, and through the Palace, there is going to be this play from Spooks. They need to find these frags, and they're not quite connecting them. Next and Simple, not exactly revealed to Spook in Palace. And Simple's just trying to find some way to enable Nexa to close this round. And he's just going to throw the flames forward, but it's not going to matter. There's a smoke grenade. They can defuse it. And so OG will at the very least walk away with 4 at the half.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. 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 How will I get out of the jungle? Everybody wanna stop me. 10 more steps up the mountain. Now everybody's looking for me. Spend my life in the desert till something changed inside of me. Now I'm flying over oceans. Everybody looking at me. I can run this town. 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 Full power, get louder. I'ma get strong, just watch me. Full power, get louder. I'ma get strong, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. Gonna hear my song, just watch me. Every hour, no doubter. I can run this town. Somebody give me the key. I can run this town. I can run this town.
Well, after Nexa was living rent-free in Krisen's head for a half a Counter-Strike, BC.Game find themselves double the score count of their opponents on their map pick. They now swap to the CT side, and OG have got to start a lot stronger than they did when we opened this game.
Yeah, I will say BC.Game's strength has been their T sides on a lot of their maps. So we'll see what their CT side looks like here versus OG. That may be a bit of a fake out over to A. All right, well,
let's
BC.Game
rotate.
have bought on it. Jeez, they're fully invested. We're simplifying the kill. I mean, I guess you don't have the kit. That's the tricky thing here. They are going to start to run over. They realize, yeah, okay, we'll over our eyes. Bomb takes a little to go down. They're going to arrive in market just as it's planted.
It's ridiculous how many rotates there were there. Not a single player on this B bomb site to greet OG, but it'll be Nexa that opens the door of the idea of this retake. Adam B trying his best to isolate these kills, but he can't do it. And BC.Game has started to overrun and retake this bomb site. Krisen started off doing some good work, but it's Simple's dualies to again chime in. It was a quad kill for Andu on the T side on B, and that was a quad kill for Simple to retake with a blom.
Yeah, 2 kills per gun. 4 Simple. Makes it look all too easy. And even with BC.Game falling for the fake there, right? Like, Krisen's chucking 2 smokes over, the flashes come out, they have a player in Palace, but arrozdoce gets caught immediately by Simple. and they see no one coming out of the back of the flash. Just like, okay, well, it's B. This is just a fake out. And I think part of the fact that you've had those flashes come over, the 2 smokes, you know there's only 3 players at B, so actually you can afford to rotate very quickly. It's a very pacey, fast retake.
Yeah, that's the key. It was just coordinated because it was 3-2-1. We're going to overwhelm them with the quantity of players we've got. And everyone was just committed to the idea of getting in the bomb site, taking as much space as possible. Now it's OG, they're going to try and get in towards A, but getting past Simple Spray is another task. Spook has been having a little bit of a shocker on Mirage, and that continues here through no fault of his own in round 14. Space at least has been taken for OG, but it would need to be another retake here for BC.Game.
Yeah, bombs down, but still a very difficult post-plant for you, especially with it not planted kind of reverse default. It's just default, so this should be, you think, fairly straightforward. Thing comes through, but Simple finds his second spam. Actually, it's Simple that finishes the job too. He just wants to keep getting kills, and he's fighting them. You know who this last player is. You can just stick the defuse. Double digits without really needing to break a sweat. Simple, another multi-kill masterclass. He's a knock on the M4, A4 pretty consistently, and he's been actually doing some really great stuff with it. Saw that spray and the damage it did. Use with every bullet in the chamber.
That was just confident, Simple. That was Simple even getting dinked with the Tech 9, but he doesn't care. He's still going to swing. He still thinks he's the best player in the server. And yeah, again, you've got another one of these retakes where if you literally just freeze that mini-map just as we ended that replay, the remaining 4 players of BC.Game are all rotating through jungle. They are all coming through at the same time. It really is a pack mentality to spring on the afterplan. It feels incredibly suffocating. For OG, the nightmare on Mirage continues. They'll buy back in again after getting this bomb down, not once but twice. Galil's across the board, utility sparse.
Yeah, OG have been going for a lot of investments. That's a nice opening kill. Simple gets some damage off, but quick flick over to the head. At least Andrew will answer back. No one plays low, so yeah, they're just going to collapse on towards middle. They crush the T's. Chrisin will scramble away. I'll just say has taken the space on B in the meanwhile, so he's managed to get some success off this lurk. Next is low. This now gets quite dicey for BC.Game with the position that the T's have managed to find.
It gets tricky because if Nexa was jiggling over towards B apartments and he could see Chrisin cross or he hears him jump out the window, then arrozdoce's position is going to be a lot better. But instead, he doesn't take it. He wants to back up to be with his teammate. So now it is a true 2 versus 3. The flank is quick. He reclaims control into the market. But now Sassanita is going to be aware because no one have rotated from BC.Game until that bomb had been planted. Andu's now known. Chrisin jumps out the window. And the molly is enough to force arrozdoce not into a fight, but into an uncomfortable situation. Andu is just trying to take as much space as possible. Low HP of Chrisin finally gets dealt with, and Sassanita will also dispatch of arrozdoce, who was stuck because of that molly in towards the doors. Another attempt at a round for OG. Another successful retake for BC.Game.
Yeah, you can see just how fast Andu was as well, right? They're in this 3-on-2. They know that B has been left open. Nexa does not jiggle towards apartments, as you mentioned, right? He's got low HP, doesn't want to give up that fight. So he just waits there, keeping that control. And Andu pushes through top middle. So as soon as they hear that bomb go down, he's just running through the apartments. He knows that space is there. And I think for OG, you can understand why arrozdoce doesn't push further forward, because the idea is they want to make sure that the bomb can get out, right? They want to make sure it can actually cross it and get planted. But you do feel, looking back on it, he did need to take some space and take a risk.
Well, in their minds, they're just assuming that BC.Game are going to rotate over from CT and go in towards market. Then he gets a kill, then that is the space naturally generated. It's another one of these fast plays. We talk about the previous, but we're right in the present. Adam B looking to take space, but it's Simple spam that gets rid of one, but quickly OG reply with a man advantage, and Chrisin can't overwhelm Sassanito. And Prime Taps has just walked through the CT smoke created by himself.
Boom.
Ridiculous. Everything over in a blink of an eye. 30 seconds. The round is done from start to finish. And yet again, it is BC.Game walking away with a lion's share of rounds. OG cannot get a round on the board.
Yeah, OG go into that one with a lot of pace, and Simple gets an insane lineup kill there, but obviously the Tracers expose him and the trade comes through, but all that trickery, the pace being put on, yeah, BC.Game like, we can do a bit of that. Primetaps decides to walk through the smoke, edge around it, catches 2 out of nowhere, flips around on its head, almost that third as well, setting up the HE over the top. Yeah, you can see that final kill coming through. This looks even better than the last times these two teams played. And it's felt watching BC.Game every single game they've played so far. It's strength to strength. Simple gets more comfortable both back in the server, but also with this new squad. Fast again, but Nikador's punished. 2 players ready to greet him as he barrels up the ramp.
I got Simple towards connector. They're aware that there could be this possibility of someone jumping in towards the window. So instead, Sassanito's going to bolster the attack by almost baiting Simple in. Tucks over towards stairs. And then the nade just lands flush shot on Spook. He's just been getting bullied on Mirage. And it's not really his fault. He's just been getting completely shut down. Simple now has a little glance, doesn't clear the complete corner. And little does he know that if he goes round that corner, there are 4 players of OG waiting in the wings. The rest of the squad, the last remnants to try and earn themselves at least 1 round here on this T side. But no one is giving over a fight. No one is giving over anything. So now you are just stuck in the desolate space in the middle of Mirage. And as soon as you pull out your smoke grenade, that's where Andu swings. Because, of course, that is the nature of CS2 timing. I'll also actually trade him out, but it's a 3v4. Nexa then just walks in and backstabs all of these players. Bomb is dropped, and you know what? You can't get by the in-game leader. 13-4, a dominant display from BC.Game.
Yeah, putting the X in Nexa, that was brilliant from the in-game leader to close it out against his long ago former team. 13-4. Domination from BC.Game. Their map PM we're getting today against OG looks even better than the BC.Game we had last week against them.
Which is a scary prospect, indeed. I think arrozdoce is pretty good on this map. Just outside of OG, just his tenure, and I think Adam B should be the reliable force here for OG. It's interesting that you're speaking about the T sides being favorable, because I take a look at this OG squad and I'm like, right, I really do expect their CT sides to be a lot more anchored in. Let's see how it pans out. Primetap's going aggressive early with dual Berettas. Andrew's got some of his own, but look at this push. Oh, it could all come to a head here in a second.
Flashbang's great though, it's perfection, but the kills only come through for 1. Nexus slides in, calls over the support of Simple, so still 2 players to get past, and Simple, a difficult customer to deal with. He's taken down another, even with Nexa falling. Keeps that advantage there, but Nikados's leg onto Andu finds success. Simple realizes that player remaining had the bomb, and this fight, Nikados is doing everything he can to keep OG in this, and it falls to Simple to close it out.
He's already flanking in towards lobby. He's been very quick about this, but with no presence in towards heaven. Krisen's actually going to take the plant for Hut. Timing could be a big issue here. Krisen around the corner, hits the headshot instantly on Simple. So what was looking like a guaranteed ramp hold, especially when you get that third element of Simple rotating over. Nexa it sets up his teammate and then isn't able to grab 1 kill, but it's that Nikados push in towards Secret. You think BC.Game have got all bases covered with the Andu vent rotate, getting ready for that play, but it is Nikados' swift headshots to stabilize OG and give them a good start in the map for once.
And Nikados finding 2 1v1s, just walking down Secret and catching Andu first. Follow through as well. Just hoping a player comes down this vent. You can see he wants to catch someone trying to get cheeky. Don't think arrozdoce is going to offer up anything. Notices flashbang in Prime Taps' hand, so at some stage, you imagine that's going to come over. Maybe set them up for a bit of a pop play, but that's about all the excitement you should expect. Around has found one. Simple's Deagle rotates back up ramp. Luck looks good though. Gonna catch one easy and adjust onto the follow through, and yeah, all threat avoided. Simple mitigated, and OG will get that 2-0 start.
Yep, as you expect. And I like the... Ooh, nice shot. I like the way they approach this round. They just take the space outside because they know with the long-range gunfights, that's going to be a lot better than potentially surviving against a lobby push, potentially surviving against an A stack. So they take it all the way around the world. They're able to get these isolated kills. The timing of the MAC-10 coming through Squeaky was paramount. And from there, OG can just lock it in. So there you go. Previous experiences of Nuke between these two come into fruition once again. History often does like to repeat itself, but now for BC.Game, they've got as many of the guns out as they would hope for. Nexa only on a FAMAS. But at least he's got some utility to try and defend. It's going to be Prime Taps and Simple yet again, trying to make moves towards ramp.
Yeah, been a lot of prioritization of ramp so far from BC.Game early. This round, that might end up being a great call. Spooky is able to get across successfully. He's the only one that's gone over. They used 40 smokes to get him over, so they're really trying to sell the idea of this significant cross, because why would you invest 4 smokes if you're not sending a lot of players over? The crazy thing is, BC.Game haven't fallen for it.
No, I mean, Andy's just jump spotting down in decon, and he doesn't see anything. He's seen nobody cross. He can just remain here the whole time. If there is going to be significant force, then Simple can always rotate down quickly. But OG are really relying on the fact that BC.Game have bought down on this. That hasn't happened. Simple just drops off his utility to Sassanito. Andu has still seen nobody. Spook will eventually let him know that he's here. And that draws one rotation. But as mentioned, OG do not care about this. They want to go A.
Smoke lands at door at a good timing as well. 30 seconds. Util comes over, but there's no immediate commitment from it. 27 seconds. Has to be this A bomb site. There's a lurk out through main, but Nexa at CT vent finds success. Swings out there, gives up his life. Nate does a hell of a lot of damage. They're at the presence because they've still got 2 players down towards B. Basanito starts to move out with Prime Taps by his side and flicks down onto Crizin. They know a player still must be stuck in towards door. Really taking their time on this approach, and they don't have a kit, so they actually can't afford to waste too much time here. Really need to get that defuse going quickly. You know where this final player is. Okay, kit's been recovered anyway. That was on Nex's body, so the urgency not so dire. But a very successful round to get BC.Game on the board.
Yeah, I mean, what a shot from Sassanito. Not only on the rafters to kill the player off default that have been planting, but then to slide over at Squeaky. That crossfire was looming. And Spook had already tried to ring the bell with a player top hut in Prime Taps. Gets scary though, and you can see that BC.Game were a little bit antsy about where OG were going to end up. But yet again, just on these retakes, the fact that you get so many players just converge on one position all at once, it's so overwhelming, and the T-side just don't know how to handle it.
Again, we get the same outside smoke setup. Double barrage. Sanito spams out. Doesn't really get too much from it. He'll go up towards the heavens. Spook again allowed to cross successfully. Again, for BC.Game, much like the round previous, they don't move a whole lot of pieces. Andrew moves down just to keep an eye on this. There's a second player with Spook this time. That extra element to maybe make it feel like it might not be the same A hit.
Yeah, and this time they're actually pressing in a bit further because you've got that extra support. Spook just doesn't spot the player and leave. Instead, he breaks the windows. The single door's going to swing open. This has brought a lot of rotates down on towards this B bomb site. It's going to be up to Nexa to try and stave off this pressure once again. He's in the same spot as last time. Spook gets a kill on Andu. It is all up to Nexa to hold A it back.
And he goes down. That's the round. Lovely variation from OG when you were able to successfully get down lower and you could see what the response was from BC.Game. Take that extra player down. Put more pressure on to really get BC.Game to bite. Cool little spin on what had almost worked previously.
It's a nice idea because they use exactly the same U2 at exactly the same time as well. So you think it's going to be a carbon copy. And Andu does exactly the same maneuver where he goes down the vent and then he's just jump spotting. He gets exactly the same info as before. Doesn't actually see the second player. They even delay the timing on it. But you hear that flashbang, you know something's a little bit fishy. Great round out of OG. Still no AWP for Simple, but the BC.Game keeping a number of their players alive because they got pulled to the wrong bomb site. They are still able to have a pretty comprehensive investment here. They take a pause. Emmy doesn't want this CT side to be manipulated that easily. It's almost very similar to the parallels that you can draw on Mirage between Nexa's in-game lead-in and the premise of conditioning and the fact that you are running really similar rounds, but they got this slight little variation. Crizzen, yet again, having a good game, but this time he is supported. Spook has rose to the occasion. Arrozdoce has had some key moments. Good to see out of OG, and it's good to see that that Mirage hasn't set them back all that much.
Bit of aggression this time. Deep Flame, Sassanito wants to make sure Spook doesn't get this free reign outside like he has so many rounds prior. Simple's going to be providing some coverage from afar to make it feel like a player's not close. That spam comes through. The flashbang, really good, but doesn't matter. Sassanito overwhelms Spook, who can't quite connect his spray. At least that trade comes through from Crizzen from above. That slowed down this outside progress, so instead in towards ramp. Off angle from Prime Taps, but Adam B, wide swing, strafes across. Space retained, space gained. G on the front foot.
Yeah, you can take that space in ramp pretty proactively because you've heard someone firing deep outside through those smokes to bait in Sassanito. So that is new undiscovered space that can be taken. And then Andu gets caught in transition, moving either towards Squeaky or towards the vent. Nikodos doesn't care which one it is. The point is he takes him down. And now Crizzen's lurk surely is going to catch Simple eventually. Not quite. Simple's now being really loud about going back up the vent, and he just removes him instantaneously. And that's really upset OG. They don't know where to go next. And Nexus push lobby in the meantime. It's the old guard of BC.Game. Despite them being new faces on the organization, they're able to grab that round. All because Simple makes so much noise and just completely destroys Crizzen.
Bro just flies up. He's doing Mario in the Pipes impressions. That was crazy. Drops down and just flies back up for that fight. What a great little bait from Simple. Incredibly, he's able to like land on the ground. Like, that's some good ladder movement. Next, he hears them running. He's like, oh, hold up. They're coming towards me. A good second round. You can see immediately what that's done. Utility Dire, Crizzen on the Tech 9. Outside, not going to be the play for OG.
They have been able to get a lot of real estate in towards ramp. They've been able to win this fight pretty convincingly onto Prime Taps. Now he's elevated on the headshot box.
Simple's here.
Imagine he's going to get flashed off. Instead, it's Simple that loses his life first. Sassanito will find Chris, and that was the outside lurk. And Prime Tap's forced all the way back. Yet again, ramp space conceded.
Yeah, look at Andrew, though. He's just pushed through. So he's managed to get this lobby control. This angle favors him. I mean, he has the full read if they decide to come back here. So it's going to free up the rest of his team to move about. They have 3 players down B. That's kind of surprising to me. Because there's this big gap over towards Hell, which OG currently look to exploit. And if they just wrap Heaven, which they can freely do, even with Andrew's good space, it becomes an incredibly difficult round for BC.Game.
Andrew's now going to go in towards Squeaky. Prime Tap's has re-pushed ramp, so he goes, okay, well, they're not here. I have to double check my surroundings, and arrozdoce will remove him. Now it is all up to Andrew. That nade should Lion Prush on him, and Spook doesn't die. But Sassanito will at least slide in main. Yet again, it's the outpour of BC.Game players all through one direction. But Nikados is on this lurk through Squeaky, but it might not matter if he's losing all of his teammates in the process. Andrew on a swivel. There goes Nikados. And between the two of them, 14 HP. Wallbang doesn't work. Nikados slides into the corner, trying to buy time for arrozdoce. And now it is all up to him. Stick on the bomb, 5 seconds. Actually spooking up amongst the rafters, looking to cause a fright onto Andrew, but Andrew holds his nerve. Doesn't bottle the retake, and it equalizes things for BC.Game.
Yeah, great damage done by his teammates to set him up for that. I think it's calm that both are low. You can see Andrew just going for that spam. Oh, there was a nade that would have really made his life a lot easier as well, but he manages to make it work, knows exactly where they are, knows that these players are low HP. But even though it takes a little second to flush out Spook, he has to make a call here.
Yeah.
And you either go for that swing, hoping that it's the stick, or you just have to hope that the defuse isn't being stuck and try and play the clock. But Andrew just gets off at an off angle, means Spook swings straight into him. And with the bomb plant, at least OG are able to invest, and they found an opening pick onto Andrew as well.
Yeah, try and go for this outside space again. There's only been one round in which a player's been directly close. Simple with the AWP, won't be able to see his vision. Completely averted by this smoke grenade, and that allows Krisen just to slide over by the red box with the bomb. Nikados looking to tag and bag some of these BC.Game players, but no one offers themselves up, and down secret they go. And currently it is all a mystery for BC.Game.
Surely you're going to make some moves now. Every time that OG have gotten down secret, they've not committed to B. So that conditioning from those earlier rounds where it was an A finish every time they crossed, that's going to pay off here as no one is rotated. And in fact, the ramp player in Prime Taps is very, very deep in ramp, so I can't even get here that quickly. So I'll find out soon enough that this bomb site's been breached, and I don't really see a way in for them.
Haven't really got much utility either when we take a look at it for BC.Game. This would be one that you sort of want to attempt to go for, but maybe you don't. They haven't really got any money in their bank accounts. They're going to say, okay, OG, you can have this one. We'll hold on to Simple's AWP. We've only got an incendiary and a nade to go for this. It's not worth it. So they pull the plug on this one before it even gets started.
The one time, well, it's the rotator who's always gone down every time they've crossed. Wasn't there. That's Andrew, right? He's the one that's always gone down the vent to make sure that he has an eye on who's going over. He's removed from the picture early. arrozdoce having a much better map this time around. You can see the loss bane is really poor for BC.Game, so even Andrew, as the only one that falls, not the prettiest position.
He's a really good nuke player, arrozdoce. I think Overpass, if OG play that, will be a good map for them as well, because of his skill set. Just knows how to play the timings perfectly. Down the vent, it goes simple with the AWP. Sassanito this time on the front foot. over towards outside. Is that Molly going to be dropped onto his position? Not quite. At least there is Overwatch here for Simple on the silo, but no one present for OG. I think BC.Game have been a little bit static sometimes in the mid-round with their movements. I wonder if after they see absolutely nothing, Sassanita's going to go for a little bit of a push.
Yeah, it feels like you need to get something here because they've gone outside consistently. The one round you've gone for this double outside setup, the smokes land, no one comes. You've got to be suspicious. This has got to be something else. They need to start moving pieces. Sassanito does start to go on that push. Simple's running his way back towards ramp. But A is the destination. These two players, Andrew and Nexa, need to hold against this. The flashbang, oh, not going to matter. Sassanito spams one out. Nexa gets his as well. Mosspook will remove Andrew. You've still got Nexa to deal with. Still got Sassanito. Good damage done. HE over the top. Doesn't quite hit Chris in. But now Prime Taps rotates in at the off angle. And Simple's in the back lines. Shouldn't be much to say here for OG. Yeah, it's the USP that gets it done.
Nice little bait and switch there from Andrew and Nexa right towards the middle portion of that A take from OG. Really good covering it as well from, I think it was the Heaven player or the main player out of BC.Game that keeps and preserves Andrew's life. So then he steps into the molly. He's positioned himself by the default on site, and it's like, oh, okay, well, we've killed the player at a back site now. No, you still got to get by Nexa, even though his name lit up in the kill feed. OG just weren't really prepared for him still to be there. It's a much more competitive game. This is much more in line with what I expected on Mirage. I think the T side has been a really good showcase of Crizzen and what he can craft, I think, in some of these rounds. And it's been really interesting to look at the adaptions for BC.Game, because when they understand where it is going to go, they are pretty responsive. But it's about that knowing, that knowledge of, well, is it actually going to be B? Is it actually going to be A? Where are OG pushing and pulling them? Because it has been working pretty consistently.
Yeah, the surprise to me there was when you know it's not going to be outside and it's a little delay on the rotate. Nino's got the HE. It's going to go out, but see too much. Prime Taps is very aggressive. You might have an opportunity here because at the moment it's the pistol that's holding the secret pop. Spook crawls close. I thought there might have been a flash, but there wasn't. So he's going to fall off. Oh, he's going to run away. Lucky for him, Spook wasn't close enough. Smoke goes down, but they found Sassanito.
And others might pull them back in towards a split. You still got this player over at Squeaky Door. Andrew's now going to be enticed to try and take this space back in main. Simple's firing off shots. And look at Andrew. Yeah, he's starting to push and force the issue. He now knows about arrozdoce in towards Squeaky Door. But he finds his mark. Simple will at least get rid of Nikados. He was the player that was scaling Heaven in the meantime. Up the vent for goes Prime Taps just for a moment. Nexa in his favorite position on this A bomb site will capitalize. 35 seconds left. Surely OG are going to go down in towards B.
Have to, but it's got to be Simple. The step up. 2 players low, but does that matter when you've got the AWP? He's lost sight on Crizzen as well, who's wrapping all the way around ramp. So Simple needs his AWP into the next round. So despite Nexa trying his hardest, those kills just don't come through. 2 players left, such low HP as well. G will take back the lead. AWP saved, but BC.Game might be a little rough with the weapons around it. So really important that he holds on to this.
I think in this round especially, there was a comms issue, or there was maybe just a lot going on. I watched BC.Game's YouTube video of their voice comms for the ESL Proving Grounds, and in moments that there was a lot going on all at once from so many different voices, and that can become incredibly cluttered. And I wonder if that was the case here with Andrew spotting arrozdoce in towards Squeaky, and then suddenly Prime Taps just comes up the vents and it's almost lost in translation. So you should never be able to find that kill that easily. There should be no way the player should be coming up vents in that moment. tough one because if Nexa finds that kill on Crizzen, the round's back on.
Just gonna try and go fast at ramp. Prime taps. Does some damage. Oh, just be careful. They're chasing him down. Yeah, Crizzen, with barely any HP, just overwhelms him. Prime taps, not expecting so much pace to be put on. Rotations come down, but Flames keep Nexa at bay. Again, position doesn't feel good. Smoke will block off the double door entry, and already they're going back up the ladder. One kill found, and that's enough for the round.
I really like the small micro detail there where the flames go deep and they block off that portion. Crizzen opens the door and it does two things. Number one, if there is a guy standing in the molly, obviously he's going to kill him. But secondly, it just gives space because you can't really come down these steps that arrozdoce is staring at because you've got no knowledge of control room. You've got no knowledge of players on the site. You see Nexa was trying to juggle all these different angles. So it was really cool to see that. A couple of kills on the way out, one of them being an SMG, so $600 and an upgrade for Nexa feels quite nice, but OG are starting to pull away. We haven't had this tug of war over the last couple of rounds. OG have got consecutive. Where the money is on the ropes, that's only going to favour the T side moving forward. They can have an 8-4 half of their own.
Yeah, Prime just gets caught off by the pure pace of Crizzen's drop. That's all that damage initially. Can't convert the kill. If he had, it would have been a different round. Nido gets a bit of a spot on the player jumping outside. All these outside smokes will land fourth. Nido's going to cross down and maybe progress towards secret. Simples that finally found that opening kill. Removes Spook outside and he's looking for more. He's seen ahead. And he'll hit the shot too. What a flick from Simple. Can't adjust for Crizzen. Gun just not ready to fire that third, but he was ready for it. And Prime taps the timing on the jiggle. This time, perfection. BC.Game, after OG, and it to them for a couple consecutive. It's off the back of a simple double. Prime taps chiming in with his two. Should be setting up that fifth, but they can't allow it to get too expensive.
That's a classic, simple, I'll do it myself moment. He's been frustrated by the amount of outside smokes that OG have been putting down. Yet again, they drop the diagonals and they go into the wall of smokes just to get over. And he says, screw this. I don't want to break open the HEs for you to tuck around these corners. I'm just going to elevate myself. He said it doesn't need to get too expensive. Sassanito will get rid of Chris and 4 stay alive. And the dream of 8-4 was right there for OG. Now the reality could be 6-6.
Yeah, and 6-6, it'd feel fantastic.
Yeah, more than happy if you're BC.Game, to be honest. Especially where you were speaking about the T sides being better in general for both of these teams when they play against each other. If they're able to grab and garner another one, they might not need OT this time.
And with OG having a good start to this as well, it was a 1-3 beginning. They've done well to bring it back so far. P250 for Crizzen. arrozdoce hits the deck. Next up, blots out a couple, but the Flames go forward to deny further scaling. He is low. There's some help in Andrew by his side. They managed so far to keep them at bay into the scope of Simple. He's missed that opportunity on the first. Lets one cross, but he'll peek back in for it. He's completely alone, and it doesn't matter because it's Simple. And the Deagle comes out. Adam B wondering how his teammates can't deal with one player. But you can't put the goat in the corner. There's no way for Adam B in this round. Sassanito's already rotated. Windows not broken, doors shut. A bomb plant, perhaps. As he desperately looks, he gets stuck in the door. Sassanito will swing to close. 6-6 off Simple's heroics.
up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet. Show me you got soul. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Just the way you like it. The way you like it. So good, so fresh. Get up on your feet, this is a shit.
Simply stunning in that last round from the man himself, and that equalizes things for BC.Game. They end the half with a shared scoreline with OG. And with the fact that, again, OG, they haven't really got everyone performing at the highest level, it's imperative they kickstart their campaign on the CT side a little bit better. And Crizzen will get a misleading dink onto Sassanito. Nikados will at least rotate down. It was his double in the pistol on the T side, trying to dance between all these players, but Simple will remove him early. That's the B bomb site breached.
And good spacing as well. Bit of an off-angle plant, but the kill cut's found by Prime Tap, so Door under their control is out double. There is double trouble with Arrozdoce with dual Berettas. Spirit goes looking for answers elsewhere. It's going to be this flank up from the ramp. Not a kit on any of these players though, and Simple puts one down. Doesn't feel like there's a way into this pistol. They start to scale out. That's when the swing will come from Sassanito. And arrozdoce dealt with as well. A double up. Sassanito to close off Simple's double to open.
Yeah, again, just really good work from BC.Game. I love the fact that they open decon. That allows the space for Nexa to plant because they don't go through the control room windows. They don't take the space in towards double. They go through single instead. And they just hold for this vent rotate. It completely catches OG by surprise because they've already got players down in towards the double door. Much more explosive start here for BC.Game. So pistols are shared. Everything has been shared so far in map 2. And for Andu, it's a drop of the main smoke. Is potentially him being sent as the scapegoat to figure out what's going on A.
And to suss out whether there is this force investment coming through, because you can see OG once again put all the pennies in. Anabi is just continuing to be persistent with this pistol purchase. He did find that killer Mirage with it, so, you know,
Yippee.
maybe he's worked something out with it. I guess if he's playing that close angle at ramp, there's some virtue. This feels like the 5-7's better in every regard.
I want to get some multi. We'll both be eating our words because they are about to head in towards this ramp direction. Nexa scoops up the bomb, moves into radio. This push comes in off the back of a flash, but again, they're still going to pressure CZ. There we go. Finds the first, but again, overwhelmed at the second time of asking. And Nikados is then pushed back off the angle. Arrozdoce thought about going in the back line. It's actually Spook tucked in towards the corner, and as PrimeTaps jumps in the window, this angle, I was going to say becomes uncleared. Nexa gives it the consideration. Sassanito follows up with the trade. 3v2. Nikados can arrive on the scene quite quickly. A fake out on the plant. But it's actually the enabling of the CT rifler. There's that 5-7 dealing with PrimeTaps. A plant in the smoke on Sassanito. And whilst he does punch in the digits, the longevity of the round is short-lived. OG's force pays off.
Yeah, that one's a bit unfortunate, but I think the killer there is actually Simple getting caught outside. He was at a lurk that was set up by Smokes to try and find the space, but I think a player pushed through the smoke on the other side and caught him out. When that goes down, you've kind of only got this push through. You don't have any of the space to kind of deal with all these rotations coming down. And just the pistols winning out in the duels. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, what took place. Sassanito rushes the bomb plant just so they can maybe invest into this. They have to force without the loss bonus. Simple's been gifted the AK. So Andrew has passed that over to him for good reason. You know what he can do.
Oh, this is really quick as well out of him. He's already approaching the doorway to main. He'll be careful that the smokes don't hinder him and give up his position, but Crizzen blindsided, and Simple just keeps going. Sprays brilliant onto Nikados. Gift the AK and you shall receive 2 opening kills.
Timu Fire Serpent looking well worth every single dollar that went into it. 2 big kills, and he might even find himself a third. Yeah, Simple. Hero rifle. No man you'd want with his palms on it other than him. They'll say we'll start to rotate at ramp, but already BC.Game have full control.
Oh, they can't go for it. They've got to save it immediately. Like, it's a 2v5. You've got no money. Sure, you've got util. Hooray. Like, you literally just have to leave the situation. Simple's won this round single-handedly. Or has Andy won it because he was the one that dropped the gun?
Very scary for BC.Game when they lose against the Force Buy, and you look at what they've got into this round, you're like, okay, gotta play without armor, utilities incredibly lacking. Matters not. Nexa looks into the strat book, flicks to that heavily earmarked page with the bookmark on it. Simple go kill. Ah, yes, we'll try this one this round.
Crazy shots. It was him that was delivering all the damage when these last 2 teams played off against each other. He brought BC.Game over the edge in overtime on Nuke. Here, 17-6, nearly a 3 KD. He's the difference.
Here's the difference. Always has been, always will be. Andrew, let's be careful, spot it out. Pretty good investment with those saved weapons, to be honest. Andrew gets over. Spook's rotated down and blocked already. The rest of the team did actually follow. Save for this one lurk on Silo. So I do feel very committed to this play, and it being a silo lurk is actually a little unusual. Normally it's towards the lobby.
Spook's got to be so careful. There's going to be a large wave of BC.Game players coming his way. Simple sees him. Now the question is, how many players did he actually see on that information gathering? PrimeTaps now just looks to lock in the vent rotate. A little bit of a pause. A cause for concern for OG. Have we made the right decision? Are BC Game doing exactly what we did back to them? Well, Crizin deals with Sassanito. That was your lurk. So now you should have a pretty good idea that it's going to be B.
And Spook, good hold at the doors. Also gets that follow-up dink, but the flames are fantastic. Molly from Simple flushes out one. Further flames go forward in towards the ramp room. Bad and B kept back. 3v3, sure, 2 players are low. Primetap's playing such a key position on the edge of this. The wide swing comes out. Bomb has gone down. Nexa behind the silo, run down by the SMGs in Simple. A 1v3 required, but with such little HP that as soon as he reveals an inch, he is removed. We just keep going back and forth.
Yeah, that's a really important one for OG. Love the way they approach that. They don't immediately bite down on the fact that the molly goes in towards ramp and the smoke. They take their time. They wait for reinforcements. They're able to clear every angle diligently. They leave no stone unturned in that big bomb site. They just make sure they're tradable. The fact that Spook gets that bonus kill defending Decon is mightily important. Has a lot of damage onto the follow-up as well from Simple. Tied up scoreline. Nexa reduced to a Tech 9. No AWP, but we know how proficient the AK can be in Simple's arms.
And one around already single-handedly with it. Spamming. Doesn't connect anything there. Oh!
Okay.
Well, that happened.
That works.
Knife out, ready for a lurk through. You often see players expecting this to happen. But what can you do with Assassinito there? Like, you just kind of got to shoot down, but he's just not able to respond to the situation. Now Simple becomes the point man. Through and oh, look at us. He didn't get a chance to even respond.
I think they know about the player in Garage. Just in the way Simple's maneuvering, yeah. I love that. Flashbang through at a Nexa and just Simple keeps on going. He's a one-man army. And OG cannot fend off the beast. He's now in at heaven. He's everywhere. But arrozdoce still finding kills, but there he is again. On for the ace. The full house of OG scalps collected on Simple's mantelpiece if Spook gets removed by the king. He'll just try and evacuate through secret. Simple's holding in case he comes through ramp. He is undeniable. We've also got a second to breathe as well. The flashbang play, Nexa drops one through. You get that run from additional BC Game players in towards the garage smoke. It makes the garage player feel even uncomfortable. And who spotted him? And who spotted that player back garage? And I love Simple's movement. He isolates every single kill. It's just that double layering to guarantee that space outside. That wins the entire round off the bat for BC Game. Said this already once this series, we'll say it again. The longer this goes on in terms of back and forth nature, the more it's going to favor the T side. Sure, we've had changes to the CT economy. They've just got far more ways to make more money.
Not a single one of those CTs is ready for that fight. Nikidos is about to throw utility. Kristen's half blind. Another player walks backwards into him. Arrozdoce back turned. Simple outmaneuvering and outperforming everybody in the server right now. This is what the kids call smurfing.
Maybe you don't need anyone to back him up and do some damage, but it'd be nice to see it at a BC Game considering how good it looked on Mirage from everyone. 124 ADR. And the new HRTV stat with the swing percentage has got to be going through the roof. Especially on this T side. Fast one. In towards A. This is incredibly quick. Sassanito burning alive. It's the UMP that gets the kill. But we traded immediately yet again by Simple. And BC Game pull the plug on the fast A push.
At least they get that trade back. Looked a little scary for a little bit there. They lose the first in this good CT position, so right call to call it off. 4 on 4. We have not seen an AWP on this CT side, thanks to the economy being kept in the bin.
You could late go A here. You could wait another 20, 30 seconds. But no, instead they are enticed to check out ramp. Adam B's on a good angle here, but the multi-kill potential from this position sometimes is a little bit trickier than you first anticipate. Just like that, because now he's forced off the line. Ramp space given over, 45 seconds. Again, don't have to commit down in towards B. You can still move back in towards an A play if you'd like to. And I think Nex has got the right idea.
Yeah, you can tell that's what it's going to be. Only one player on this site. Snicker does. It's going to be this play outside. You can see some movements. Nikodol's backside needs to be the hero for them. Not revealed to Heaven, so Simple can't see him. And Nikodol catches him off guard. Follows through for another kill and needs to get away. Nade comes out. It does not work out for him at all. Kristen's been spotted on the up and up. And the trades are there. It's onto Nexa. In the 1v1, time is limited. Gets the bomb down. Adam B starts to rush. Next is such a low HP, but manages to move forward and peeks straight in. And where the star falls, the IGL steps up and gets BC.Game to double digits.
What an unbelievable pre-aim out of Nexa. He hears one step from Adam B. Adam B is trying to put pressure on because he knows that Nexa is low. He's hoping that he's going to get off that bomb plant and then suddenly the round's going to be done and dusted because he can play at the virtue of time. Bomb committed. And from that positioning, as he got in towards Hut, you assume so on the low HP. No, Nexa just takes the fight immediately. And that is all through Nikodol's hard work. And getting that double kill, the immediate snapshot on towards Simple. You get rid of that other dimension of the A attack. But that one moment, that one clutch out of Nexa, that has completely shifted the favor for BC.Game because the money completely washed away now for OG. And they go back to outside. They just take all this space. Simple. Andu already down B. But Nikodol's is trying to put a stop to it yet again. He needs another multi, but he won't get it.
That round was such a swing round. I mean, the money, you look at BC.Game, it's not fantastic what they have left over. That's off the round win. Without loss bonus, they would have been actually a hell of a lot of trouble if they'd lost that round. So it could be the round that determines this entire map and series. Oh. Okay, that's the bomb. Not a problem, I don't think. The Kristen's found an AK.
$25 and 8, he doesn't care. He's just swinging every angle.
Yeah.
That's an ESO, should have to jump.
No, he was not looking the right way.
Okay, well, you know one is in main, one is in towards their spawn. Yeah, you just go plant. Simple could tuck himself up in towards Heaven. Where's the third player? Oh, he's in towards Hut. Primetabs could be caught off guard if he's not too careful. Trying to diligently clear every angle to try and be aware of the possibilities. And now he sees one in towards Hut. Adam B removed from outside. So main and Hut, the danger zones. Here by OG. Simple goes down. And now it's Primetaps that needs to put up the fight. He needs to isolate these kills. Has done it on Primetaps. And that was all up to arrozdoce, but he can't do it. Last bullet in the magazine out of Primetaps. BC.Game again. Sweat off the brow moment. They get away with another one.
Yeah, it's Simple feeling like he's invulnerable in that moment because he did not need to keep swinging there. It's planted for him. You know that OG didn't have anything into that round, so there's not really a need to keep swinging when it's a 2-on-2, when you know you've got a player playing backside who is taking these duels with arrozdoce. So when he gets punished, it does get a little scary. Last bullet coming through indeed. But now a 3-round lead for BC.Game off these back-to-back clutch rounds coming through. Now they're going to go for the faster play again. Trying once more to get into this bomb site, but it's the same result for that first player. And not an immediate trade off it up.
Look at Andu's HP bar as well. It is incredibly low. I rate the idea here and the call out of Nexa because if you go for a fast play, they might not be prepared for it because they've just invested all their rifles again. It doesn't work out. And now you go back to the drawing board. Outside smokes might be put down here shortly for BC.Game. Spooker and arrozdoce tasked with the responsibility of holding down A. And yeah, based off the back of that opening kill, BC.Game are a little bit stunned. They don't really know where to go next.
Simple gets caught as well.
You ever save this for a minute? Yeah, looks like it.
They actually do. Yeah, Lost Venus not there. Yeah, it's surprising they go for that faster play again towards A. I know it's a bit of a staple of Nuke, right, to throw that one out, but last time they did it, it was the exact same starting play, and it's just a repeat of that here. So unfortunately, not much for BC.Game into that. A misfire. Gonna have to try it again.
OG got to be feeling pretty happy because that was a singular kill and then Simple's lurking and he gets caught. And it's like, all right, perfect. That was the easiest round we've won in a very long time. They keep 5 alive as well. That does wonders for the bankroll, at least in the short term. Next to this time, the one that drops over the AK-47. He'll have a deagle, but to be fair, on Mirage, he did 1 deag Nikados, who was wielding the AWP. Still doesn't have it. Over in the OG ranks. Might be a little bit more dynamic outside. Simple yet again. He just really wants to fight. He really feels like he can take all of these advanced engagements. And to be fair to him, they have been working out.
I don't think we've seen it all up in the second half at all, with how back and forth it's been. Andrew gets over successfully. Not an immediate response from the CTs. In fact, they don't rotate anyone down. You see Andrew is hoping that someone's going to come move over here. So it's 2 at ramp and maybe taking lobby is the response.
How do you get the bomb over here if you want to go B? Because you don't have any smokes anymore. I mean, no one's directly watching. Adam B's now getting a little bit curious, so over towards lobby. But that's a good timing because as they're taking lobby, BC.Game have made it down secret. But now it is just a race to this B bomb site, and Chrism will be here in time.
Got no util. On either side, really. This is a very strange position to find themselves in. A couple of Molotovs, what BC.Game are working with, but with Adam B rotating down with Chris in. Strong supportive network to defend this bomb site. Oh, now 3rd player arrives. Doors open, the swings come out. Simple, sure, he'll get 1. That's all it's going to be. It was just too clear to OG exactly what was at play there. BC.Game just walked straight into the crossfire.
It's too quiet. I mean, you think about the rounds where they've got a couple of AKs and limited utility before. It was always the design to make a lot of noise outside. Maybe you can catch that secret player. Maybe you can get Simple enabled to go through garage, etc. But this time it is really slow. There's no noise over towards lobby. There's no real breaker of the doors. There isn't a player lurking there to at least gain a fraction of information. At least get the heads up to BC.Game. Oh, by the way, they've pushed lobby and they now know that he's going to be on the B bomb site. So therefore you're just underprepared. Maybe we do need overtime again. This is looking like a leveled up scoreline again. We're going to need guaranteed all 24. I doubt the Glocks are going to get something out of this round.
Shouldn't do. Might be. Maybe overstays his welcome. I guess against the Glocks, he does a pretty damn good job. So, actually, stays his exact welcome that he needed to. Get himself a little quad kill. That spook that comes through to make sure there are no casualties. OG Bank starting to really blossom. 11-11, feeling like they've done well to bring this back 3 in a row. Chance to find map point first.
There's two conversations going on here. One of them is obviously Emmy and Nex are having a discussion about what they want to do, what they think the right play is to get BC.Game onto series point. Another discussion is, do we want to get Simple on the glass cannon? Because he can afford an AWP, but he can afford absolutely nothing else. And he hasn't bought yet. So that might be the current conversation going on in these 30 seconds. Do we equip our star with a sniper?
I think the rifle's been doing pretty damn good.
I was a little bit worried for Adam B when he did scroll wheel jump.
Yeah.
On towards ramp. He was good.
No fast play nonsense towards A, although Primetats does take a forward position. COG ready for any sort of pop here. Arrozdoce on top of the silo, but Andrew's been removed early. Kristen spams him out. Tries to play around the deep boxes.
Oh, this is a nice little angle here from arrozdoce. So you can see a little pixel. Crescent. Aware of top main. Yeah, he is. Completely blindside Sassanito. That is 2 opening kills from the in-game leader. And there it is. That small pixel will remove prime taps.
Anabe's in the set-off angle like every single round. So yeah, Simple's ready for it and sees the second player of Nikodas. Let's take a lot of damage for his trouble. I think maybe you do look to save again. It's tricky. I think Simple feels like that's what he wants to do.
He's got a time in here out heart. Oh, dropping the mollies now. They don't have the timing at all.
It's all signaled, isn't it?
Maybe they're just going to drop the mollies and then leave. No, instead they're going to group up. Is there any way where you could maybe go down the vents?
There's 2 players down at Secret. They've moved up though, so maybe there was an opportunity to go down the vent. Simple falls off the spam. Next up, should just get burst upon here, and yeah, goes down after 1. So OG find map point first on their map pick. BC.Game at 3k apiece. Try and force overtime.
It's one of those where it's been a little bit sluggish in the last few rounds for BC.Game. OG have been a lot more dynamic on their CT side. Chris has been taking a lot of space outside. You've had these lobby pushes coming in really early. And you're getting this advanced info. And unfortunately, the reality of the situation is, Simple, whilst he can carry to a certain extent, you do need one of these players to step up and be alongside him. That has not happened at all. Maybe if you can force overtime, maybe you can get rid of the monetary worries. That could play a bigger factor here, but it's going to be really difficult to try and force something. They've tried fast plays in towards A. They've tried fast plays in towards Secret. I'm surprised they haven't really tested Adam B at ramp when they've got weapons, because you know he's going to play in one of 2 different angles.
The sucker for that off angle. Doing a similar position to where he got spammed out last round. Successfully skirt into dark. Just had that drop as well, so that's some information. Spook has gone down. But Andrew again caught outside by Chrisin. He has had his number, and be a slight variation in his setup. Goes down after 1.
Oh.
And we've got a little bit of a bug there, so I missed exactly what's happened, but you can see not too much. Just taking that ramp control. Just engaging.
Oh, they're doing this thing again where they take all the ramp space and they go back out A. If they go through Squeaky right now, then arrozdoce might be in a little bit of trouble. You see, he's got to deal with so many angles. It all comes down to this timing, if it's going to favor the CT or not. Time starts ticking. No one has really gone back in towards ramp, so everyone's a little bit static. You see that Krisen is starting to come up Secret, a little investigatory mission towards outside. And if he goes in towards main, then he'll have a line on Squeaky, which bails out arrozdoce. And there it is, Simple removed. It comes with a dink, and then the top hut player can get involved. It is all up to Nexa. A 1v4, one player is quite low. He's just going to stick in the digits and hope.
Gets it down. Knows Crising was low outside. It's not an impossible 1v4. Flashbang from Spook to maybe set out these players out of heaven. But Nexa repositions into maybe not the position you'd expect him to be in. 3 players coming out heaven. It depends if one scales along the rafters to cause problems for him. There's that flashbang. He hears them dropping out. There's that player scaling. And yeah, Crising just runs around with a 5-7. And that's the way OG get it done. It's a slew of rounds in a row from 8-11 to 13-11. They force us to a decider.
We saw flashes from Sassanito on Nuke, and I put his name forward to be a difference maker, but the issue you had is that it was really streaky. It wasn't this consistent spell for BC.Game. They start on the T side, you assume, with OG winning that knife round. So all boils down to this. One team carries on through in ESL Challenger League. At the end of this map, the other eliminated. OG looking for revenge against BC.Game, and it's BC.Game with a lot of utility, trying to kick things off on this pistol.
And spreading out on this T side, putting a lot of pressure over towards B to keep these bodies rooted. But look at this push down from Spook and Adam B. They're going to get the info. This isn't the hit, but they're spotted as well. Doesn't quite matter as they trade out effectively, keeping the advantage. Now Sassanito running solo with the bomb. Arrozdoce can stop him in his tracks. And now he can just smoke it off. This is a disaster for BC.Game.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you go 1 for 2 on the K fight, and I'm starting to think, okay, well, it doesn't matter because there's only Arrozdoce here in Donut. But that bomb, that C4, completely isolated was the issue. Now they've got to run through the smoke. Now they've got to basically just go to their deaths. Andu finds one on the way out, but it doesn't matter. OG continue their dominant spree, and they secure the pistol. It's a step in the right direction. Already a challenge for Nexa.
Been great to see in the latter stage of the series, Arrozdoce really stepping up and coming into his own. He's been struggling to adapt a bit to OG since joining them. I know he's run on NIP also. Probably not what he hoped for in terms of his output. That's good to see. On Nuke, he was able to find a considerable amount of impact, and he starts Ancient strong.
Got MP5.
Yeah. Dropped the M4 over. And one of his teammates gave him the MP5. I wonder if he's even an MP5 user, or if he just got dropped it as a troll. You know, sometimes your teammates ask for a drop and you give them the MP5.
Should be fine here with no armor on anyone from BC.Game. Andu gets overwhelmed by the MP9. And the question for BC.Game now becomes, can we plant this bomb anywhere? Is there anywhere to find an opening? Nexa can't carve one out on Adam B, who's playing over towards long, this time on the B bomb site. Simple will start to take control in towards mid alongside Prime Taps, and it's his dig that needs to rattle off first, and it will onto Nikados.
Great kill. It's a rifle scooped up, but he's lost his teammates to that MP5. He actually throws the M4 out, so he knows unlikely to do much with it. Just looking for another flick shot, but he'll be removed. The SMG who mops up too, and yeah, that M4 I think thrown out of the server. So some good economic impact.
It looks like Arrozdoce has taken up the majority of Buzz's roles that he used to fill within OG. Very, very similar players, but I think what you get out of Buzz is it's a lot more commitment onto a bomb site, whereas for Arrozdoce, like, he's more than happy to go and search for info. He can be a little bit more independent. I think a lot of the players that came through A main when Buzz was on this OG team was with and often predicated with someone else. I think Arrozdoce can be left to his own devices more often than not. Remember, that was just Eagles coming out for BC.Game with no armor. Now they've got all the AKs. Now they've got the better buy, and Andu makes Crising know about it, gets his bell rung, and the opening kill this time goes in favor of BC.Game.
Yeah, Andu on his revenge arc after Nuke, where Crizin just had his number outside constantly. Still 2 players here. Simple boosted up. Haven't seen too much. Does playing out towards long. Now Spook rotates over, so there's still going to be a lot of players to deal with. Oh, the swing from short from Spook. It could not have been better timed, just as Andrew looks to take that swing. But Simple's still here. He'll trade back to another player in towards the cave, and it's got to be all Simple. Let's rotate. Being noisy, trying to bait him in. Bomb is at ramp, so Simple has some space to work with. No utility to block this off, but he'll pick up a smoke. Gives him a lot of room to move with. We'll smoke off cave where Adam B was last seen. Tap on the bomb, but arrozdoce has fallen back. Time starts to dwindle. Simple decides to go forward. arrozdoce actually expecting this. Drops the incendiary. The Simple takes the fight, and now he can just charge onto the A-bomb site.
Yeah, Adam B's been left in the dust. Incendiary fortunately will fade by the time he reaches the destination. Simple's got more than enough time to plant, but it's about where he takes the after plant. Adam B coming through CT, Simple, vigilant, aware of the possibility, puts himself on a headshot angle, but Adam B overwhelms. BC.Game nearly bailed out again by the GOAT, but this time Adam B has the final say on the matter. OG 3-0.
Essentially a 1v4 coming through from Simple there as he loses his teammate as part of that 2v4. Right idea, try and fight forward. A great kill, but unfortunately Adam B thorough on that clear. Keeps OG flawless. Simple gifted another hero rifle, looking to maybe repeat that round from Nuke. That timing from Spook on short was criminal for BC.Game. They got so unlucky on that.
First time we can say as well that OG could bring out an AWP incredibly early into this map. Nika does. It's an unfamiliar feeling with how recent he's been able to grab this sniper. I mean, good timing from Spook. I think also that the fact that you have killed Crizin already in cave, Simple has dealt with both the short player that has swung out in Spook. He also deals with Nikados in long. You're never expecting another player in Adam B in cave. That's what makes Simple lose his teammate.
Like smoke thrown up to allow Nexa to try and fake presence at B. They look to pop onto this A-bomb site.
This will work if they get contact, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're lining up utility to throw, and yeah, perfectly timed incendiary as a response. Smoke can then be dropped on it at the last moment, and the AWP's even here as well. So that's going to dissuade proceedings. If anything, BC.Game are now going to reconvene with Nexa and probably go over towards the B bomb site.
Yeah, the fake's just a little too obvious, isn't it? You see that lurk smoke land, there's nothing behind it, you've broken it, you've seen no one is actually playing around it. So the idea
The bomb
to
drops outside A
reconvene.
main. Yeah, with the bomb drops outside A main, you give yourself opportunities to potentially go back in towards this bomb site. But 2 players in towards Donut, arrozdoce, trying to take the fight. You've also got Spook in the corner. Simple will at least trade, but Nikados is still holding A main. And now you got to figure out if you're BC.Game, do you stick or twist on this bomb site?
A lot of space over towards B right now. Simple's being very loud in middle, keeping a lot of attention here. So there's this space over here, but he can't convert that swing. Adam B gets brought down low, but now the rotation comes through. Nexa hits a blinder, but that was a low HP player. He needs to double up, and he has done that. Huge follow through. He'd love to pick up these rifles. Not going to have the space to do so, but there's no utility for these CTs. So this smoke landing in short, this double up play, the bait and switch. Asnido swings off Nexa's contact, but now Nexa falling, leaves it all onto him. He can at least go back and maybe grab one of these guns. No. Problem is the bomb's not planted for this position, so it can just be the stick. Flash comes through, and yeah, nice shot comes in. Unfortunately for him, he might find all the kills, but the round still goes to OG.
Really surprised that Nex is the one that pushes that short smoke there. And he wraps long. I thought they were going to do exactly what you say. Bait and switch. Sassanito maybe takes the contact. Then it's going to be Nexa that follows through with the double swing. Instead, they try and go for a cheeky play where they force the issue. They try and immediately get the advanced wrap over towards long. But OG, good presence of mind. And don't allow any tomfoolery to happen on their bomb site under their watch. BC.Game, sure they get the plant. They're not able to yet again stick the landing. Andu finally finding a little bit of something in towards middle. It's a complete brawl here into the middle of the map, and Sassanito and Nexa will chime back in with kills. Arrozdoce will at least get rid of Simple, so it's a player advantage for BC.Game, but it's only a slim one.
And he's under pressure here. Adam B has walked down the ramp. Surely won't progress too much further past this, just hoping maybe there's a chance that he can walk into his crosshair and he can secure a multi-kill. But he's completely alone on this bomb site. Sanido starts to clear in towards cave. Does Adam B budge? Holds his ground. Here's that utility thrown out by Nexa. Shadow spotted, instant headshot, and he follows through. And now it's just Sassanito, who will catch him out. And he's spotted out, I'll say. He goes forward, Sassanito. Doesn't allow the reposition. Swings straight in for the headshot, and off the 1v2, BC.Game finally find their first.
Yeah, a really good moment there from Sassanito, but you got to praise Adam B in this round, and to be honest, in this map, because what's been interesting for OG is that every single player has stepped up in different moments in this series. It was Crizzen predominantly on Mirage. No contest on Nuke. We saw good moments out of Crizzen and Arrozdoce again. And here's Spook has come into his element. Adam B's now really started to step up. Fast one in towards middle. This time it isn't just Andu. It's also Simple. I know the money's worn a little bit thin. Knife out for Crizzen. That's an easy one. And again, it's that CZ. It's always good for a singular kill. I wonder if it's going to amount to too much more. He's gone back in towards that smoke to grab the AK-47, and BC.Game know that it's their perfect time to leave. And whilst players are trapped in towards heaven, the bomb, fortunately enough for BC.Game, has made it on towards this A bomb site.
And no threat in this one. Sassanito did all that damage with the Tech 9, and then the win on the round prior, that 1v2 to close it. He's put OG on the back foot, and now he's finding all of these players. So Adam B, the only one with anything to save. Unfortunately for his teammates, he's dropping a CZ.
It's nice to see that there is still like good responses here out of the T side. Like they understand what the situation is and they know the appropriate reaction. Immediately, you identify the B stack. You immediately go through in towards Donut. You don't overstay your welcome, because that could have got a little bit tricky, especially after you've got Sassanito and another player over towards the B ramp, almost stuck it in between the two smokes, sandwiched off from your teammates. You're just happy if you're BC.Game that the bomb wasn't involved in any of that. He has dropped the CZ. Nikados is wielding it. The virtue of these rounds being competitive, it does mean the money is weighing thin, and BC.Game can potentially get themselves within one round already in this decider.
Should be not too many issues. And be that one man that can be a stumbling block. Take some space with the supporting cast of USPs.
It's good timing on this.
Boost. Oh, unlucky. I like the idea. You don't see that sort of boost like that, really.
It won't matter too much, but the bomb is in spawn. So in a weird way, you have got to come back and fight for it, but Prime Taps has already recollected it. Nexa has got to be careful. Assassinito is covering his back. That's the B bomb site open for business, and this will be the confirmation that BC.Game get their third.
Again, it's just a save mission with these two AKs. BC.Game done the hard work to get back within 1 round. Might be scoped to get the AWP out for Simple next round. No pun intended. Would be, I think, likely uncontested, given that neither of these saving players has armor. Didn't really see him use it on the T side of Nuke, but part of that was they didn't always have the position to do so. I think he also wanted to be super aggressive and have the flexibility of the rifle, but here he's got some players like Andrew, like Sasnito, who are kind of taking that pressure off. And it does look like it's going to continue to be the AKs.
It's kind of hard to use the AWP on T side. Ancient. I think this map is quite deceptive because you feel like it will be like a good map for AWPers, but it's sometimes a little bit tricky just because you've got so many moving pieces consistently on both sides. So it's going to be, again, this direct fight in towards mid, and the Molly barbecues both Sassanito and Prime Tabs. That is not normally how this fight goes down in towards mid, but accompanied by the spam, the Molly is a good cocktail.
I got absolutely cooked. HE landed straight on them as well, I think, so... The whole kitchen thrown, and it's a tasty barbecue for OG, and he's been spotted, and oh, okay,
wow, nice.
Simple punishes that. The smoke fades just as Crimson peeks out, so that's actually given away back in from a dire position. It's a 2 and 3.
You don't want to be losing this round if you're OG. You lost a 2v4 on Nuke. You do not want to lose a 2v5 on Ancient. Simple. Starting to tussle with the idea of fighting for donut of arrozdoce, but he's done enough to force him back, and he's also done enough to grab the rotates over. Andu now has all this space over towards B. Simple reconvenes. This timing has just been missed from OG. And the bomb can go down. Not that BC.Game know it, but the B bomb site completely belongs to them.
Yeah, still take their time on these clears, and there's going to be a fast flank because of this. Don't have a smoke either for either of these T players, so that means they kind of have to go manually clear a lot of these angles. Good molly will keep Nicodels at bay though, so that will allow this bomb to go down, and it's planted Simple so they can take good space towards long.
Yeah, it depends if Simple's going to slide in the corner here. You feel like arrozdoce is going to clear this, so he's not on an off angle. It all comes down to this one fight. If Simple's able to take it, then suddenly he can provide support for Andu. And he moves back, and arrozdoce slides in. Andu, low HP with too much to do. And the retake is a success story. They were acutely aware that that flank could have came in, and especially when there was no resistance over towards B. Okay, they've crunched middle. Good plant, good idea, but again, as stated, that fight between arrozdoce and Simple really defines that round.
Yeah, and you can see that, I mean, Simple is just waiting for this, and normally he's like the god of those timings, right? But it's just that nervousness. The bomb's half ticked. You know this flank is likely coming. You've had no contact anywhere, and Simple hasn't heard a thing. He's not heard anything in CT, nothing in red. At this point, you think, okay, this player should have extended by now. So he starts to move back. His crosshair's still in the position, but he's mid-movement. arrozdoce plays that to perfection.
Also, you've got to commend the B ramp players for going pure contact and silent up the ramp as well, because that, again, leaves Andu in a false sense of security where he's just consistently paranoid about where they're going to come from. Fast take it again from BC.Game. Not much resistance here in middle early with the grenades. There's pure personnel. Triple layered in towards red room, but it's the dink of Nicodels and the confirmation. Prime Taps has not been having a great game thus far, and it could get worse here for BC.Game with Crimson stepping forward and trading out his teammate.
That can accelerate on towards B once more. Simple looks to disrespect this smoke as the support coming in from K, but Andrew gets removed and almost the lineup. You can see the opportunity for it. Chris in low. But only the one kill comes through, so Nexa has to do it all. Nade brings him low. Looks to take this fight forward. This would need to be a masterpiece from Nexa, but they're ready for this. Prison jiggling at the angle. He'll go down, but that was a low HP. Nexa with 4 left. And arrozdoce just runs away. He's got the kit. Spook moves over. He can stick that bomb. That was the chance if Nexa won that duel, but it was an unlikely one. So OG continuing to find success.
OG are going through the motions right now, and I feel like, again, we're actually seeing very, very similar issues for BC.Game on the T side of Ancient that we were on Nuke, and a little bit on Mirage, to be honest. It feels like they really are sort of overplaying their hand in moments. They're really trying to accelerate proceedings when they don't necessarily need to. The push out of Cave, I think, with Nexus being so loud and creating all these echoes in amongst Cave, they just automatically assume that Long's going to be clear. They never anticipate that someone's just going to slide in on this angle. They don't have all the necessary utility. Maybe you can get Simple on the line at that point, but he's the one with the C4. Would really help as well if Prime Taps was able to lift himself up just a little bit off the ground, even 5-10% more effort. It feels like you're contributing something, anything on this T side. He was the difference maker, remember? He was the difference maker the last time these two teams played against each other. Highest rated player on the server.
He's gone middle a few times and it's just been deleted. So yeah, it's not been the best start for old Zaza. Sandu out mid this time. Spook. It's already tucked in. Let's fire arrozdoce, and Spook looks to take that fight forward. He actually gets brought down low. Andrew wins that out successfully, and Nexa trades. Castanito starts to take the angle, Tux to take the space. Good pre-aim. He does. Forced off the line just with the M4. No sniper, so bomb to go down. 4-on-3.
There's not a whole lot of money to go for this. If you're OG, in the player disadvantage, you got one smoke, one flashbang. If you don't find a kill in the next few seconds, you might as well just call it off. Krisen's now just been inflicted even more pain. And yeah, there you go. There's the signal to retreat, to back off out of this. You got to preserve your own money. If you're BC.Game, you can't directly go for hunts, even though Simple will try his best. No defuse attempt, no nothing. Interesting to see what the bomb damage is here. It's completely fine. And they keep tinkering with the radiuses.
They love to tinker, don't they? Yeah, great trades. Great decision just to go for the fast A. Lucky there's no AWP in play, and there continues not to be.
They gotta really be careful, OG, because that's a number of times now where BC.Game have been able to get Heaven relatively free, and there's always that trade available on the players in middle by BC.Game just coming up over the top.
Adam B catches out Assassinito before that smoke goes down, but fast trades come through. Adam B spams out another, keeping it even. Nex is trying to do his best to catch one back through that smoke, but it's all favoring Adam B right now, a master of these angles. Bomb down, re-smokes land on both positions, so space. Tricky for OG. This one's going to fade. Adam B's ahead of it. Nexa not ready for that. And now Simple. Flames at his feet, still manages to stand and deliver one. Both him and Andrew low. Holds that flashbang in his hand to set up his teammate. That's going to pop over at the crucial time, but Andrew doesn't have the space to move out. That smoke on the ramp is causing problems. It's not a stick, but it's the spam coming through. Can Simple line this up? No, it's arrozdoce the other way. An OG off Adam B's well-held B. Get on to 7.
Yeah, they just really panic there, BC.Game, because Simple's low. He thinks if I duck and dive away through this smoke, And then he realizes, well, actually, that doesn't set Andu up at all because they're just going to spam the smoke. They know I move back into this area. So then he tries to flash play. Then that's the guaranteed knowledge of, okay, well, they're both probably over towards ramp. He tries to spam, but it goes the other way. As you mentioned, anchoring from Adam B was exceptional. And he's really come into his own here on Ancient. It could be an 8-4 half, but Andu, he's consistently trying to at least carve out opportunities here for BC.Game. Another one in towards middle, and arrozdoce has got a huge task on his hands. No one in support at the moment. And the walls are closing in on both Donut and A main.
Still defenders here, and arrozdoce has found his. A great shot, finally! PrimeTaps enters the field in this final round of the half, and it's a critical kill onto Crizin. Adam B just swings out to remove Simple. Maybe that's going to give them a way into this. PrimeTaps very low. Bomb still not planted. Good damage onto Adam B. It's like Nikodov's going to have to be the trade master here. Donut setup. There's no smoke to help OG in this round. Off angle from PrimeTaps. You'll get a nice kill. Multi-kill round from PrimeTaps. Sure, Nikodov gets that one in Assassinito, but you've still got Nexa. You've still got to deal with PrimeTaps. It's just being annoying. Just has to hope maybe he can bait out this swing from Nexa. Not going to happen though. PrimeTaps swings around. Nexa holds, and well, at least there's something for BC.Game, keeping it competitive to close out the half 7-5.
Tell you what, Prime Taps came into the server at the right time. He gets a double kill and he gives BC.Game a little bit of hope to end their T side. They now begin on the defense only with a 2-round deficit against OG.
Yeah, and they're going to take the space in towards middle. So fairly spread out on the defense. A fake out on the B bomb site draws Nexa over, but that's not the intended destination. Simple hears these players running out main. He's in the prime position. Flames will prevent him from disrupting. Oh my god! I mean, I shouldn't be surprised. And yet still, it shocks you every time a shot like that comes through.
Keep your eye on Crizzen, because he is late lurking through middle or A main. Decision is that he's going to hold for a big old flank. It's going to be Nikados that gets rid of Simple. And you don't know about the player Big Box, but maybe you don't need to. Maybe the person you should be concerned about is Nikados. Nexa fakes out the defuse. There's knife attempts going on, and now he's sticking it in plain sight. Arrozdoce will eventually get this knife kill, and now there's no time, you assume, to defuse. Arrozdoce cleans up for OG, and they'll get both pistols on Ancient.
He's just dancing in the smoke, just knife, knife, knife. I thought Nexa was going to have that for a second there. He really looked like it. That was crazy. Taps the bomb to bait out all the spam, even finds a kill, but he's brought down low. It's just that one strike from the knife. What a shot from Simple. That's disgusting. This looks so funny.
Hello, ultimately, it's Arrozdoce that does win the round because of this knife, and then he gets to follow through with the Glock. But shout out Nikados.
Oh, it's the last bit.
Kills. Those fine margins, but that is $1,500 and a round win to the good for OG.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's a deagle shot out of Simple. See you later, Adam B.
Of the Ancient I've seen from BC.Game, Simple, very dynamic on the CT side. Does prioritize you up a lot more, obviously, than the T side. I expect him to be moving around quite a bit. He won't just be stationary over at A like any AWPers often opt to.
To be fair as well, for him, obviously thinking about his stand-in stint with FaZe, they were playing Ancient an awful lot, and he was getting a lot of work done with the AWP, specifically on CT. So his impact, I don't know how it can get even more, but it needs to, in a weird way, for BC.Game. The good news is that you have got the floor mostly around him. Nexus, Sassanito, Andu are all chiming in with good, important contributions, but OG, off the back of winning that pistol, they are starting to run away with things just a little bit, and Simple is $100 short off of buying an AWP. Has to go with the rifle.
It's needed. One more shot to connect. That said, he probably wants the armor as well. OG bringing a lot of bodies over to be early. President taking the space. Ledge fully in his control. The smokes deployed towards window and donut as well allow him to continue to scale with this Mac 10 freely. Taps has seen a fair bit and he's still taking a lot of damage. Nade follows up as well, 27 HP without a fair fight.
Yeah, that is two perfectly placed grenades, and the only place Andy could be in that position is in the corner, so Crizzen runs him down with the Mac 10. Now the acceleration starts to come in for OG. Nexa on the swing will at least remove Crizzen, and he disengages appropriately. So whilst they have got control of the bomb site, OG, I was going to say maybe you've got a couple more players you need to deal with, but Spook just stands in the fire and the flames of dispatches of the in-game leader. This is round done, dusted, save for both Simple and Sassanito. OG now double the score count of BC.Game. They go up to double digits first and put themselves in touching distance of knocking Simple out of Challenger League.
Yeah, Andrew getting caught there, just seen as he jumps up onto that box. Crizzen makes that split-second decision. Try and run him down, and yeah, what a cool call to make in that moment. See, Prime has been brought down so low from earlier. I also love that angle that arrozdoce, I believe it was, it took, behind the flames to get that kill. That third player swinging over. Brilliant way to get their 10th. First gun round does not go the way that BC.Game hoped. Save this M4 and, well, 2 M4s. Not enough to incentivize any investment around it. Then again, do you really want to concede 11? What's it look like here? Half measure, so a few things come out. We've got 5-7s, Deagle, Simple and Sassanito, who need to be the stars.
That was a classic OG round. You get the first kill, you get the space, you just go. You just create an overwhelming amount of pressure on towards that bomb site. You keep asking questions to BC.Game. They got to come up with on-the-fly solutions again and again and again. For Simple, he just gets overwhelmed. A1 versus A4, and it's Spook that comes out on top. His reward for getting that kill on Simple is to get blocked by his teammates. The molly doesn't land flashing donut, but the bomb is down. OG don't care.
Well, you feel like you went this as a half buy, so why not give this a go? You got the kit as well on Andu. Sassanito finding a rifle. There's definitely a chance here. Or Andu, sorry, finding that rifle. Definitely a chance here. Primetouch's angle is good. You find these other players. Nika does at the off angle. I think that's going to spell the end of that round. Kristen hears Sassanito fleeing. Him wanting to walk away with a weapon, but Sassanito really wants to hold on to the AK. I think he'll be allowed to, but regardless, OG onto 11, a 6-round lead, and only 2 required to take this series.
Yeah, jaws of defeat type stuff for BC.Game, and I tell you what, like, I know we call that position brokey, but maybe in tier 2 we've got to start calling it Nikados, because how many multi-kills, how much involvement has he had from that spot directly in this half alone? Just a multitude of impact coming out of OG's AWP on the rifles and the pistols. Speaking of snipers, Simple's got his. This is the Hail Mary. This is the last roll of the dice for BC.Game. They lose this, they're going to be coming out of this series with a whimper, and they're going to be really felt hard done by, because they easily could have closed this in 2. They allowed OG back into the game on Nuke, and they've taken complete control of Ancient.
He's going to try A again as well. Symbol's over at the B bomb site, so he's going to be avoided. Nexa will drop the smoke to block them, keep them at bay. Utility a little limited off the back of that. When he sees no commitment, gee, starts to move, and Nexa just says, guys, hold the line. They're going to reaggress elsewhere. So Simple, who didn't budge, might just be in the prime position. Three players on this B-bomb site.
Smoke's dropped in, and yet again, Simple patiently waiting. He's going to get ahead of this smoke. Is there a flashbang? Yeah, it comes out from him, and that means that he's just off the line, and Adam B will catch him just as he's finished pulling the pin and bringing out the gun from his pocket. And then the follow through from the in-game leader means that Adam B can grab another kill. Andu, last player standing, but they're ready for him. Bomb dropped. That would be an issue if arrozdoce didn't pick it up immediately. And whilst he goes for the spam, it doesn't quite connect. Sassanito starts to push the issue, trying to chase shadows in amongst the bomb site. This arrozdoce that just keeps on going. Every single kill suddenly presented to OG in isolation, and Nexa, who's been on the A-bomb site the entire time, first scared by that fake, but told his team to remain resolute, has just had to watch all the pieces from the top right-hand corner of his screen fall, as it's OG kill after OG kill. And it's OG round after OG round. They're going to find 12. They're going to find 7 chances to close this game.
And a flawless T-side to get it done as well. Nexa doesn't even live. Simba will have it all, but that's going to be really only a small consolation with the current account as it is. Really unlucky for Simple there. Adam B gets up close towards that corner position just as he falls off the line to throw that flash over. So he just gets caught on a terrible timing. Great flashbang as well on the prime tap. So yeah, you had that double kill round at the end of regulation, end of the first half, but that's all he's offered up at all. Nikados is using a bloody MP5.
Yeah, well, now I found out who the culprit is. I can't say I'm surprised. Nearly. If he had done that, that would have been the sucker punch. Instead, it is Sassanito to try and provide a little bit of resistance. And the whole of BC Game feel motivated after that kill. Finally, blue on orange in the kill feed for the first time in forever. And it's about to be the first round etched on the board here for BC Game. Sassanito starts and finishes this round. And finally, there's some CT life in BC Game yet.
Yeah, you can see the idea from OG there. You know, Nikodos has that forward spawn. I think you normally would want a Mac 10 in that position. He decides to opt for the MP5, maybe for a little bit of troll factor as well. You know, he's a bit of a troll, as Nikodos. I think no matter which one was in his hands, he missed the mark when it came to actually hitting the heads with the SMG. That would have caused a good distraction to allow the players out A. Doesn't work out. Simple Sam with his AWP. Goes towards middle to help set up his teammates, taking that space too.
Really aggressive from Crizzen in towards heaven. Completely sidelines the molly. Starts to run through it as well. Alongside the spam from BC Game. This one looks to be much faster, and it is. Crizzen gets rid of Andu immediately. Now, for Prime Taps and Nexa, they're sent scrambling. B bomb site yet again under OG rule. And Prime Taps can't get involved. It's Nikodos with all these headshots. Spook goes round the corner in towards long. This is it. This has to be the end of BC Game here at ESL Challenger League Season 50. Simple. 1v5, but with only 1/5 of his HP bar. Surely his days and time in the server is now numbered, and whilst he gets a no-scope smoke kill on Nikodos, they start giving him a little bit of respect, but only for a brief moment. That is it. OG progressed through. BC Game eliminated.
That's a crushing one for BC Game, but what a victory for OG. Considering where they were at on Nuke, it looked like they were down and out. They got schooled on Mirage. 13